Hello everyone and welcome back for day 3 of the Let's Celebrate release. All the products that you see here today will be available on May 3rd at honeybeestamps.com. The first stamp set that I have to share with you today is a 6 by 6 inch stamp set called Kiss the Cook. Lots of great greetings in this one like Grill Master, Kiss the Cook, Life is a Picnic, Hey Girlfriend, Happy Father's Day, Dad You're the Best. There's a small Dad You're the Best, so you could stamp that on the inside. Let's Catch Up, Relish the Day, You're Smokin', Well Done, Happy Father's Day Dad, Let's Barbecue, You're Invited, Sending You Heartfelt Appreciation Today and Every Day, and then an I Love You Dad. There is a coordinating die set available with this stamp set. It's going to cut out every one of those greetings, so it makes the perfect stamp set to get ready for Father's Day and to pair along with the products that I have coming up next. Now this is the A2 Apron card base. This is a standalone die set, and like I said, it's A2 size, so it's going to fit perfectly either onto your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch cards, or you can make this into a card base itself. So I have cut out all of these pieces to show you exactly how this apron goes together. I've cut out 2 pieces in white cardstock, as you've seen here, of the base piece. That cuts on the side, and then it has 2 little tabs at the top, so you can put through your little neck piece. That's the piece that goes around the neck when you wear an apron. There's also a layering piece that you can either put on the outside to add a little color, or you can put it on the inside to add a place to write your message. There's a pocket that cuts. It also has the tabs that are embossed when you die cut those, so it makes it really easy to fold and put your pocket together. There's that little neck piece that's going to fit right into those cut little tabs at the top. And then there's also a hinge piece. And this is so you can make your apron into a card base. So let's get going and put this all together. First up, I'm going to take the hinge piece. It does have a scored and embossed line that cuts and scores when you put that through your die machine. I just folded that right down that embossed line. You can take your bone folder and make sure that that is nicely squeezed down and folded together so it's nice and flat. After I do that, I can add some double-sided tape. You want some strong adhesive to make sure that your apron card base is going to stay together when it's all built. And I find this double-sided tape works perfectly for this. So I get it added to both sides, and then I can simply peel off the backing on each piece. And then all you have to do is start lining up the base parts of that apron. You can see for this one, I'm going to line it up there on the left side, just making sure that that embossed line matches up and fits right down the side of the apron. Then I can kind of close that hinge, put them and stack them together and make sure everything's lined up, and then squeeze those parts together and make sure that the adhesive is stuck down nicely. Now you can see the hinge on the outside, and my apron card base is all ready to go and ready to decorate. Now, as I mentioned before, those little tabs in the top do cut, so that makes the perfect little place to slip into those little tabs your little neck holder or the little ring that goes around. Again, I'm going to add just a little double-sided tape right under my little tabs there. I'm just kind of popping them up, added the double-sided tape, and then I'm going to use my Honeybee Stamps little poker tool and carefully pull off the backing. And then I can kind of make sure it's nestled down where I want it, and then press those right into that double-sided tape. Now the next thing you can do is either add your layering piece. You can add it onto the front side to add layers on the front, or you could add it to the inside. So whichever you want to create your apron design. I'm going to go ahead and glue this down with some liquid adhesive and add some color to the front of my apron. I love to use liquid adhesive when I'm layering pieces like this because it makes it easy to line everything up and make sure it's adhered exactly where I want it to go. Now the next thing that I need to do is fold the tabs in on my pocket. There are tabs on 3 sides and then the top is left without a tab. There are embossed lines in this as well, so all you have to do is fold those in towards the back, and then you can use whatever adhesive you like to adhere your pocket onto the front of your apron. So you could adhere it to the front side just like this and put all kinds of little goodies and things on the inside. And it also makes the perfect gift card holder, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now here's a look at what that layer looks like on the inside. You can glue that there, and then you have the perfect place to write out your message. Adds a little color as well, or if you wanted a dark apron, you wanted the base, let's say a navy blue or a black, you could add a lighter cardstock to the inside so you have the perfect layering piece for that. Now let me show you how a gift card will fit either horizontally or vertically in that little pocket. So super fun if you want to make this into a Father's Day card or a Mother's Day card. You just simply build your apron, add your little pocket, and then you could add whatever type of gift card that you wanted. You could put it on the outside or you can add it to the inside. Now, as I mentioned before, this apron card builder is A2 size. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So this is going to fit perfectly into your standard A2 size envelope. And here in just a second, I'm going to pull out one of our pattern paper envelopes and show you how nicely that's going to tuck right down inside just the typical standard size envelope. Now this apron add-on that I have for you next is perfect for all you floral and garden lovers out there. So this is called the Garden Tool Add-on Die Set. It contains another little pocket that has layers to it. You can see the scalloped edge there. All types of gardening tools, even little gloves and a watering can and the little signs that you can add to your garden. There's also the barbecue add-on die set. So if you wanted to create a really fun Father's Day card for dad, this is the perfect set with little tools and things that you can tuck right into the apron pocket. There's also another pocket in this set. So if you wanted to add a pocket that has a little stitched edge, that is available in the barbecue add-on set. The apron and the barbecue add-on set goes perfectly with the sentiment set that I talked about first, which was the Kiss the Cook stamps and coordinating dies. So I just wanted to remind you that those will pair perfectly together. Now next is a stamp set that I'm so excited about. This is called Bitty Buzzwords. Now this has 9 of our famous buzzwords in it. They are just scaled down in size. They're bitty in size, but not too small. So they are going to fit perfectly on absolutely any of your card projects. Of course, there's a coordinating die set that goes along with Bitty Buzzwords. Each scripty word is going to have 1 shadow die. And so I'm going to take these out and I'm going to show you exactly what these look like and how they compare to our more classic buzzword stamps and dies. So here I have one of our original sets. I have friend there to the left, and I'm going to take out the word friend from the new Bitty Buzzword stamp and coordinating die set. So I can give you a look at just how these compare in size. So if you are a lover of our classic buzzwords that have that beautiful stamp and then the 3-piece die set, I really think that you're going to love and enjoy the Bitty Buzzword set. That's a tongue twister. So let me hold the 2 stamps up together so you can see the size difference. So this makes the words able to fit anywhere on your projects. If you like to build scenes and like to have big designs on the front of your card, then this is going to be perfect for you. Again, the coordinating die set is going to have that big scripty word or the bitty scripty word, and then just one shadow. Now let me give you a comparison of the classic buzzword dies and then the bitty buzzword dies. You can see I still have the same word, friend, and you can really see a great size comparison there. So I hope you're as excited about bitty buzzwords as I am. I am going to love these on my projects. Now I'm going to build an apron card for you today, and I am going to do a garden apron. So I have die cut all of those little die cuts. I have my apron there to the top left-hand corner done in some white cardstock and some pattern paper. First, I'm going to add some color to just some plain white die cuts. And I'm going to do this with some Distress Oxide inks and the help of some Post-it notes. So I have masked off the places that I do not want to add this color, which is pumice stone. I'm taking one of my Honeybee Stamps blender brushes and then just rubbing that pumice stone color all over to the top part of my gardening tools. I'm just making sure to get down into all the nooks and crannies there. And then when I'm finished with pumice stone, I can kind of shift and take away and redo those Post-it notes. So then I can color in and add different shades to the handles of my gardening tools. So I'm simply going to pull that back. And you can see here I am using a very loved and very dirty sticky mat. That's just a sticky mat that goes into a electric die cut machine like a Cricut or a Silhouette. And I just like to use that. You can see how easily it holds down all these tiny die cuts while I ink blend. So you can see I am moving around my Post-it note, and a couple of these tools I'm rubbing on bundled sage. And then on the other two, I am rubbing on a little bit of worn lipstick. And that's just going to pull out the colors from the pattern paper that's on my apron. I'm just going to shift all these around and get the final bit of that worn lipstick rubbed on there. And then all my little gardening tools are colored and ready to go. Now I did add a little bit of silver glaze pen or gel pen to these tools. It just gives the embossed parts of those tools that when you run that through your die machine, it's going to give them a little bit of dimension and some details in those die cuts. And I just added a little bit of silver glaze pen there just to add a little bit of something to those die cuts. Now I'm taking the apron set and I have the base in my right hand. I'm going to set it aside. And I'm just going to use that layering piece. That's the piece that's used to add a layer to the outside or to add that writing space onto the inside of your card. I'm going to make this a smaller size apron because I'm going to actually put it on the front of an A2 size card. So just kind of using my dies for maybe something other than what the original purpose was, to get a smaller apron. And like I said, I want to build a card, an A2 size card, and I wanted a smaller apron to go on the front. So I've got all my little die cuts here. You can see my beautiful floral pattern paper there. And then I have used a white piece of cardstock for the little ruffle around my pocket. And then coordinating cardstock that goes perfectly with that black and colorful floral. I am going to punch holes in the top. And I'm going to add a little bit of black and white baker's twine as the little ring around the neck. And then also the tie that would go and tie around the waist. So I'm simply going to run that through the holes and tie a little knot and then trim off the excess little ends with my scissors. And then I can simply run that through the other hole and tie a knot on the other side. So I've got that tied. I'm going to make my ring around the neck the perfect size, however I want it. And then I can kind of tie and move down my knot and then just simply trim off whatever excess twine that I have. And now my little neck tie or neck ring is all done. Now I'm going to put together the little gardening gloves. These gloves come with two little gloves, or the dies come with two little gloves, and then there's also the little cuffs. So that could look like they're rolled down. You could use a different color of pattern paper. I simply cut these out of white cardstock, and so I've added the little hem or the little embellishment there to the gloves. There are some little flower stems with leaves, and there's also little blossoms. So I've cut those both out of pattern paper, and I'm simply taking a little bit of our liquid adhesive and adding those little blossoms right onto the edge of the stem. And I can do a whole little gardening scene with all of these little pieces from the Apron Garden add-on set. Next, I have cut out of craft cardstock the little garden signs, so that would tell you what you've planted where. And I have cut that out of craft, the base or the stake, and then added a metallic paper over the top for what would be the little sign part. I'm taking some of the black and white twine again and wrapping around the apron waist. I'm going to tie that in a bow with the help of my tweezers. That's like an extra pair of hands there that I can use just to tie my little twine in a nice bow, and it looks like it's tied right around the waist of that apron. I can get everything kind of zhuzhed into place there and then trim off the excess twine. I'm going to glue one glove like it's kind of flopped out of the little pocket there, and it's kind of hanging down over the tie of the apron. And then everything's ready to go to kind of poke things in here and there. Now I need to pick out my sentiments, and this is from the new Inside Sentiment stamp set. And I'm just going to take the scripty Happy Birthday, and I'm going to emboss it with black, VersaFine Black Onyx ink, or Onyx Black ink, whichever you want to call it. And I'm going to stamp that with that black ink and then cover it with clear embossing powder. So I did use my anti-static powder. I stamped the image or stamped the greeting and then added clear embossing powder over the top. And that's going to make that sentiment kind of stand up just a little bit and give it a glossy look. That's just going to help it stand out on the front of my little apron card. Now I decided to do a little scene with the rest of my die cuts on the inside of the card. So I have a craft piece of cardstock. And again, I took the Bundled Sage Distress Oxide ink and my Honeybee Stamps blending brushes. And I have that four-sided grassy hillside border stencil that I use just to stencil on a little bit of grass down there at the base of the inside of my card. Now I'm using one of those birthday or inside birthday sentiments to stamp on the inside of my card. Again, I'm going to use that VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm stamping Sending My Love on Your Special Day. I'm going to use the coordinating dies for that happy birthday sentiment now that my embossing ink or embossing powder has dried and set up nicely. And then I'm even going to add a few little words to those little signs. And I'm taking the bitty buzzword set that I showed you earlier. Sorry about my curly head there in the way. And I found some small little words that are included in that set that are going to stamp right there on my gardening sign. So I have a hello. And then for the inside of the card, I also stamped a little sign that says lovely. Now I'm taking our picket fence dies, and this is from the Horizon Slimline set, and I'm adding a little white picket fence to the inside. I've glued that down with our liquid adhesive, and I'm simply just going to snip off the sides. And now I have a little garden area or a little garden scene started here where I can add on some of those cute little die cuts from that Apron Garden add-on set. I'm going to set up my little watering can and make sure it's all going to fit there into my A2 card. You can see I can kind of shift over while that glue is still wet. I can go ahead and add my card base, so I make sure everything fits in there nicely. And then go ahead and add the rest of all the little die cuts. So I can kind of prop up my little tools there that we use the distress oxides on. Just use a little bit of liquid adhesive and place them here and there like they're kind of propped up against the little picket fence. Add the little shovel and then the little hand rake. I'm going to use the little balloons and kind of tuck those down in behind the watering can. And again, I'm just going to take a little bit of our liquid adhesive and kind of pry up the top of that watering can just a little bit and stick those stems right down in behind the watering can. I am going to use my little honeybee stamps handy dandy little pick tool, and it just kind of helps me lift up the edge of that watering can die cut and then tuck those right down underneath. Now I've got two little blooms kind of poking out there. And then, like I said, I'm going to add the lovely sign, as you can see there, the little gardening sign. I'm just going to stick that right down in there with the tools and things. So I decided to put it right there on the right side next to that little rake. And now the inside of my card is all done. And I still have a place to write a nice greeting there or a nice little message on the inside of my card. I'm going to add my finished apron to the outside of the card just with some craft cardstock. I'm going to use my liquid glue to hold down the tie or the bow on the waist of my apron. And I'm going to pinch that closed with my tweezers again. Now tucked into the apron pocket, I have that little Hello Garden sign, and then also the little hand rake, as you can see there. I'm not for sure exactly what that tool is called, but I have it tucked into the pocket. And then I added my heat embossed scripty happy birthday. And now the front of my card is all finished. I'm going to add this onto the front of my yellow card base. Just use a little bit of our liquid adhesive, get it all lined up and stuck down. And now this super cute apron gardening card is all finished. I'm going to give you a close-up look at the outside. And then if you flip it open, there's a cute little scene and all of those die cuts used on the inside. So I hope you've enjoyed the products for day 3. Make sure you check out our blog and social media. And again, all these products will be released on May 3rd. And I'll see you for day 4 tomorrow. Bye-bye.